Hi everyone, welcome back to Sunday Leeds Champions League. Chris here, aka Big Will, and today we just have the one game for you. We are at home against Blackpool in League One, and obviously today is the standout transfer special so far of the save, in my opinion. Since you were last with us, of course, it's been a very busy summer. We've had a lot of games played already as well. I was intending on coming back right at the start of the season, but transfers were happening left, right, and centre. So I decided to just get the transfer window done and dusted, and then we can move things forward. So our opening game in League One ended in a 2-0 victory over Exeter. A 2-0 defeat followed that against Huddersfield. We changed formation for that game just to try something. It didn't work, and we reverted to type for the game against Sheffield United and won 3-1 against the Championship side in the first round of the Carabao Cup. A 2-0 defeat at home to Morecambe followed that one, but a really good win 1-0 away at Milton Keynes Dons, followed by a second round win over Sunderland on penalty kicks, a 2-0 defeat away at Walsall, and a 3-2 defeat away at Newcastle in the third round of the Carabao Cup as well. So we're off the mark at least. We've won a couple of games. I'm fully aware that it's going to be a season where we just have to try and avoid relegation. The bottom four sides do go down, so it's a very big season for us, this one. And we're facing off against a Blackpool side that have had a steady start to the season. They're sat in 11th place. We've only scored 3 goals so far in the league. We've conceded 6. So, yeah, it's just going to be one of those things. And with the number of players that left last year, it did take a long time to actually build a reasonable, sorry, good-looking squad. Um, with the number of players we decided to release on free transfers, it has been a very, very difficult transfer window. So we'll start off in goal. We managed to bring two new goalkeepers. Nathan Bishop has come in and he has been the starter so far at the start of the campaign. 6'1", decent standard of a goalkeeper, to be quite honest. Has got a decent amount of playtime under his belt at Wimbledon previously in League One, and he's played League One and League Two for Wimbledon over the last 6 or 7 seasons. So overall, really happy to have brought him in. He's got good league experience. He's had 2 clean sheets so far as well. So a really good player to bring in goal. Jack Porter is going to be the cup goalkeeper theoretically, but Bishop has largely taken the reins, even though he came in on a backup contract. Hugo Rulek has come in as well as a backup goalkeeper. He's never really got going in his career. He's largely played for Bochum's second team, and he's never really, like I say, broke into first team football. He's come in again technically as a first choice goalkeeper, but he is yet to break into the team. Main reason we brought him in, I like his goalkeeping attributes, to be honest. He's 6'8", so he pretty much fills the goal. And general perspective, he's a good goalkeeper. It's just going to be a case of when he will break into the side. Defensively, we ended up leaving ourselves quite short. Joe again almost left, this time for Leicester, but again couldn't get a work permit. So he has largely been in and around the team for the start of the season. Aaron Bowman, we managed to bring in. Really good central defender, in my opinion, 6'2", pretty quick off the mark as well. Good determination. Defensive attributes reasonably strong as well. And previously of Ajax, incidentally, and he actually had he's played a number of seasons in the second tier for Ajax's backup side. So he's got good experience as well from that, to be quite honest. And he was a really good player to be able to bring in again on a free transfer. All of our signings, by the way, as usual, are free transfers. Maddox Jonas Dowling has also come in as a central defensive option, and previously of Blackpool, again, he's never really broke into a proper first team, but he did have a season on loan at Carlisle in League Two last year, and again, we signed him on a free transfer. He has played for Blackpool at this level, but more of a bit part player, to be quite honest, but he has had starts. largely with a couple of substitute appearances. Had a few loan spells out and whatnot, but again, another decent option to have been able to bring in. His technical attributes are absolutely shocking, but as a defensive attribute side of things, he is actually quite good, believe it or not. Good positional play, good defensive attributes with his heading, marking, and tackling. And he's a very determined character, and he's got really good concentration as well. He's only 6 foot tall, but decent jumping reach and decent strength. He could be a very worthy centre back for us this season. Charlie Tasker was the next man to come in. He doesn't scream top quality. He's actually come in as a squad player. We needed another right back, and it was really hard to find one that was willing to come in. Really good pace about him, though, so he will be our starting right back, challenging with Gordon. Decent technical attributes, really average ratings, to be quite honest on that. I do like a player with good determination. He has not got that, but he's got a good work rate and teamwork ethic as well. So I'm hoping that he can come good for us in that right back position. Incidentally, he was previously of Milton Keynes in this division. He's had 3 good seasons here, and he was previously of Boston and came to the academy at Brighton. Ian Anderson was promoted from the under 21s, along with a few other players, just as squad fillers. Chinaza Nwosu has come in, and again, he's had a few different clubs, never really got going again. Came through West Ham, but signed for Forest very early on in his career. Made 2 Premier League appearances, but largely on loan deals in League Two with Chesterfield and in League One with Rotherham last year. Again, we've signed him on a free transfer. I think he's a really good player to have around the place. Really good passing ability, good technique on him as well. Decent determination. Other mental attributes not quite there, but I've largely signed him for his physicals. He's got good natural fitness, good amount of pace to him as well, so he can be that box-to-box type player, getting forward as well as coming back and getting all that pressing in the centre of midfield. Dougal Rattray, again, another one of the players that has come forward from the under 21s. Niko Jankovic was the last signing that we managed to make. Very good utility player. We've largely brought him into play in central midfield, to be quite honest. But last game he did play on that left-hand side. Really good crossing ability, incidentally, so he will be useful in those areas. Good determination. And yeah, as an all-round player, he is pretty decent. Fitness is reasonable as well. He's not the quickest, but again, at 6'2", he could also be a bit of an aerial threat. So, and I mean, look at that valuation. Again, these free transfers, if things don't work out with them, we can sell them all on for a profit, and that is going to be the key thing, I think, going forward. Sol Sidibe was the next man to come in, another central midfielder. Again, good passing ability and technique. Really good mental attributes across the board, and physicals, again, pretty decent as well. Previously of PSV Eindhoven, probably their second team, to be quite honest, and Helmand Sport as well. So, again, he's had a little bit of first team experience, but he's never really got going for a senior team. But he's played regularly in the second tier of Holland. So, again, player with really good experience. Also previously of the Championship, I just noticed there. John Boys, we're looking at loaning out. Jackson Craig is another one as well as John Boys that come through the academy that we are pushing forward. And then lastly, we managed to bring in 2 really good strikers. And again, at the start of the season, we didn't actually have these striking options. They came in over the first few games. Micah Mbik has come in previously of Charlton Athletic, and he's played a lot of football for them in the Championship in League One. He's never been a majorly regular goal scorer. He has scored a couple of goals for us already in the Cup, and he looks like a really good player, to be honest. He's struggling with his average rating. He's just not quite getting up to speed just yet, but he's got a good amount of league experience. He's 24 years of age. He's 6'3" as well. But again, as an all-round player, I think he's really good. Determination is lacking a little bit, but his physical attributes are really strong, decent work rate, off the ball movement, and a decent finisher. And again, another threat in the air, similar to what we had last year with Ben Garrity. That is what we were looking for with him. And Petar Andrić, another Croatian player that we brought in. Again, similar type of player, 6'4", very, very similar in terms of quality as well. Much more determined character. We're still sticking with the one up front. I did mention I'd tried a tactic for two up front. It just didn't work. We didn't get going at all when we left too much space in the midfield. So we reverted back to the formation that's worked so well for us last season. So Andrich unfortunately did pick up a knock recently. But in terms of his career, previously of Lokomotiva, but he's never really broken into a first team. Only 57 appearances and 4 goals. Um, so again, he's a decent player in my opinion, but again, he's just never really got going in his career. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on over the course of the season. Obviously, the target for this year is to avoid relegation. I think the squad is good enough for that, but from a general perspective, it could be a very tough season. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens, realistically. Solezmanovic, incidentally, has been starting up front. Despite us using that target forward role, he does seem to remain in that starting 11 for that position at the moment. He is 6 foot tall, but he's not particularly strong, but he's got good jumping reach. He's a decent finisher as well, so he can play in that role, but the other two strikers are a little bit better at it, in my opinion. But we'll see, again, how he gets on. We've got Bishop in goal today. Anderson, Joe, Bowman, and Tasker are going to be at the back, with Oni, Sidibe, and Nwusu in the midfield. Kellerman and Jankovic out wide, and Solejmanovic up front. And again, we've got the options on the bench there as well. McFarlane unfortunately did pick up a bit of an injury in the win over Milton Keynes Dons. And I think fullback is the one position that we are lacking a little bit. Anderson is only 17, but he is coming into the team today, and it's a big opportunity. Sorry, he's just turned 18. Big opportunity for him to break into the side. He can play a couple of different positions as well, and I'm more than happy to use a couple of these youth players this season. Boys, like I say, we are looking at loaning out. Even though he's a decent midfield option, technically he's just not quite got that ability yet. And I think a loan spell of regular first team football could make all the difference for him. So going into the game, I know what I'm expecting, but at the same time, um, we just hopefully we can get a couple of random victories here and there just to keep a little bit of momentum. It's going to be a very tough campaign, and if things do go sour quickly this season, I can't see me keeping the job. The board just want us to attempt to avoid relegation. Um, but with the money that we're paying out for wages on these new players as well, and some of them are quite substantial, if we were to get relegated, it would be quite the disaster. Um, we also had a number of job interviews over the course of the summer as well, one of which was actually at Hull City, who got relegated to this division. And I think that that would have been a fantastic job to take on. But unfortunately, they decided to go elsewhere. And Taylor here charging into penalty area, and Bishop managing to knock it over the crossbar. Preston, again, they offered us another interview. They do seem to want us. Well, when we had the interview initially last year, last season, I think it was partway through the campaign, they decided to go down a different route. And incidentally, they're in the division below us now. So technically, that would have been a step back. So I just rejected the option. I have applied for a few jobs as well, realistically, because obviously we are still trying to progress. And Hull City did actually agree to send me on a coaching course should they offer me the job. So that's another thing that is still on my mind. We need that natural progression as a manager as well as a club. And again, at the start of the season, I requested a coaching course, and again they rejected it, despite the fact that financially the club is probably in one of the best positions it's been in for a very long time. But it's just not been happening overall regarding those coaching courses. 0-0 at the moment. Neither side particularly looking creative. Um, very even first half, I think. Um, both sides creating a few chances, but nothing worthy of a highlight at the moment. So clearly, defences and goalkeepers are very much on top. Our keeper, especially, rating a 7.1 at the moment. It was 7.2. Brown, their right wing back, seems to be dominating the game, rating a 7.3/4, and Watson's just ticked over for Blackpool as well. So with half an hour to go, we are just going to pause there, and we are going to get that focal point on up front now with Bick. Boys is actually on the bench today, despite loan interest. One is going to come off for Connor Barron, and then Wasu, I am a little bit concerned with because he is on that yellow card. We're going to push Jankovic back into the midfield, and we're going to get Janato on that left-hand side. In fact, we'll put Janato onto the right-hand side, potentially. No, we'll leave it as it is. Kellerman's been playing okay, incidentally, on that right-hand side so far at the start of the season, so we'll keep him there for now, and we'll just change that target man and see if he can just put himself about enough to make a difference today. Um, but from a general perspective, the squad, it did take a lot to get it together. Um, it did take plenty of time as well. Gordon's going to come on for Tasker here, who's just struggling a little bit fitness-wise. And I think pretty much that's going to be it. Um, in terms of strength in depth, I don't think we're too bad, to be quite honest. We've got decent star quality in our players in relation to the rest of the league. It's just going to be a case of trying to build our reputation a little bit and grind out a few results. Incidentally, Anderson's had a decent game at left back. There's been nothing particularly glaring from him as they start coming down this right hand side with Brazier laying it back to Sewell. And now Casey just holding on to it and laying it forward to Rogers. And now Watson into Ennis. Plays it forward and Taylor's in behind. And Taylor has scored for Blackpool. I'm hoping he's offside, and he is. The referee's assistant's flag does go up, and it remains 0-0. But we certainly got carved open there. Jankovic here with a free kick. I mean, he's quite a way out. Surely he's not going to go for it from there. Surely not. Jankovic. Well, he has struck it, and the keeper very unconvincing in dealing with it. Tommy Setford just managing to tip it out. And in the end, we've been a little bit unlucky not to win this game. Chance-wise, we've been probably the better team. And another clean sheet for Bishop, albeit we haven't scored, but I would consider that to be a very good result. And hopefully, it gives us something to build on. It's a good point, that, in my opinion. Blackpool, of course, a former Premier League club. That's another thing you've got to consider. There are some very, very good teams in this league. We've got Virtue Trophy that we're playing in as well this season as well, which, to be honest, I couldn't care less. We had a little mini cup run, to be quite honest, with the Carabao Cup, with a couple of really good away days there. And in terms of finances, I think, to be fair, I mean, we've gained £500,000 from that game away at Newcastle. So, you know, just random cup games like that can make all the difference for us in terms of bank balance and pushing the season on. Projections by the end of the season aren't looking particularly grand, but overall, it's not horrific. Balance of minus 9.6 with a £9.2 million turnover. So, honestly, projections aren't looking completely horrific. Well, they are. By the end of this season, we could be looking at about £5 million if things keep up the way they are. Um, so yeah, realistically, I think we can be looking quite positively at the future here. Um, my contract is up at the end of the season. That's another thing to take note of. And I am keeping an eye on the managerial vacancies. Um, Obviously, we're at a part of the season now where things have settled a little bit in the manager market. But come midway part of the season, we could very easily be jumping ship. And because of where we're looking at finishing this season, realistically, it is going to be a big fight against relegation. It's going to be very, very tough. Because we've had that high of the promotion, it could be very smart to jump ship when we're not, if able to, of course, when we're not doing quite as well. But in terms of the badges, every time they just seem to say no. So I'll put the request in again. Normally they're reasonably quick on coming back about it, and we'll see what happens. Something I have noticed when you're not doing quite as well in terms of form, the board are a little bit more willing to give you a coaching course in vision of that improving the club's form. Even though realistically it does take your time away from the squad. So again, they're calling in for a meeting. They will not just accept it. Um, to further my development, but I've going on a coaching course. We're not sure it will benefit the team. And again, this is the constant problem I'm having with this board. And it's going to come to a head at some point where we've got to progress. Even if it's a sideways move in this division, I need a team that is going to be willing to let me get those coaching badges. We're quite, I mean, we're what, into our fifth or sixth season now? Um, I lose track very quickly, so I do apologise. What is it, 2031? It started in 2025, didn't it? So yeah, we're into our sixth season now, and I've still not managed to get all of my coaching badges, and it's a little bit frustrating, to be fair. But we'll just have to keep tabs on it, and we'll see what happens going forward. In terms of upcoming fixtures, we'll probably get through the rest of September, and we'll probably come back for. I mean, Cardiff have been in the Premier League as of Portsmouth, so we'll get a few league games out of the way. We'll probably do Portsmouth and Colchester. I think we'll get the Virtue Trophy game done, dusted. Obviously, it's a new league for us, and yeah, it's just nice to have a look and see. So I won't be going all out to get things out of the way this season. It'll be a little bit more compacted, and yeah, we can go from there. And fingers crossed, we can kind of maintain a mid-table position, or at least stay clear of that relegation zone. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for your support. Please like, subscribe to the channel. It is all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time. This is Big Will, signing away.